Hi everyone, it's Jerry. Let's have a look at a game from the 2010 World Blitz Chess Championship. This is a game I only recently stumbled upon between Dmitry Andreikin on the white end and Sergey Karjakin. It's a brief game, only a 10-mover, and one you may have guessed involves an opening trick or trap. It was very surprising and instructive, really, for me to see a player of Karjakin's caliber go down so quickly. He has been, for the longest time, a 2,700 plus player, initially reaching that level at the age of 17, and he's only built on it from there. I recognize this is a blitz game, a faster time control, and mistakes are bound to happen, but still instructive and surprising defeat. So let's hop right to it. Opening-wise, we have an English 3 knights variation. After g6, pay particular attention to the big gaps, f6 and h6. Earlier on, it's the f6 square, but both of these will play a big role. These two gaps in Black's house will play a role in this quick defeat. So how to try to take advantage of that f6 square, first of all. We need to get our dark square bishop contributing. So it's first d4. After e takes d4, this is where we have an atypical reply. Not the recapture, but rather knight d5, immediately keying in on f6. Bishop g7, bishop g5. It's now both white queenside minors coordinating on this square. How to defend? The queen's under fire. Pop quiz. What move would you play here as Black? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, the move played in the game is knight g to e7. This is a losing move, but maybe not crystal clear as to why that's the losing move. You may be tempted to go with some move right here. I know I was. In reply to knight g to e7. May not be clear how you punish this last move. Before I go down this line and show why this is a losing move, let me point out what the best move is. The best move is knight c to e7. I'd like to just add a couple reasons to support this move right here, to share why this is considered best. For one, Black does not give up control over f6 right away. King knight is still there. And two, the white knight on d5 is soon to be given a boot with c6. In fact, the bishop on g5 is also ready to be given a boot. The two white minors that are in Black's house will be kicked away. All right. After knight g to e7, how to take advantage of this? The tempting move for me in this position was to put the knight right into f6. And I imagine with all of this talk so far I've shared about that f6 square, many of you went in this direction. The knight gets to jump in with check. Black's going to have to go uncastled. You don't want to give up the bishop for knight either and say, if you actually go for this, white is better. The rook moves. How are you ever getting rid of this guy? Yeah, that's not a good option. What is best here is to play king to f8. In this position, Black is actually better. Black is the one who's generating a threat now. Black's uncastled, but is ready to go with h6, bishop backing up, g5, and then win the knight. Let's also not forget, Black is still up a pawn in this position. White has yet to recapture it. What is the way to win in this position as white? Another pop quiz, white to move. How do you punish Black's last move? Okay, the winning continuation, the move played in the game, is knight takes on d4 only now. Okay, what's happening here? Let's see. For starters, if knight takes knight, this is one of those painful moves. You get the piece back, and you're getting the queen soon enough. That hurts. Let's also note what the threat here is. Let's just say black makes a dummy move, a passing move. A6. The idea here is to get rid of the defender of e7 and then take the knight. I guess that would be best, but still the issue here is that white is winning a minor piece. So what do we do? Bishop takes knight? That's the move that was played. The follow-up here, one more pop quiz. Feel free to pause the video. Here we go. Queen takes bishop. That's cool. I really like this continuation. You're giving up the queen? Why? Well, if knight takes queen, there would follow a checkmate in 2. And how cool is that? Those 2 gaps on f6 and h6, that's checkmate. Knight on f6, bishop on h6, do the job. So what does Karjakin play? These dark squares are officially broken down. There is no save here. Black castles, walks right into knight f6 check. If the king goes to h7, we have our pick. Which double check do we want? That one looks cool. Followed up with mate on g7. And, well, okay, if king g7, that's what we could do. In the game, king h8 is played. And now we have the final move of the game. Knight to g4. Karjakin resigns. There are only 3 moves in this position. Excuse me, 4 moves. So let's point them out. You could move the king to g8. You could block the check like this, block the check like that, or capture the queen. Let's go through each one by one. King g8. Knight h6. This is a move that's going to surface in pretty much every variation from here on out. That's mate. Another variation, f6, we would take on f6. King here, that's mate. Rook takes bishop, we take with the queen. Favorite square for the knight again, h6. And are we there yet? Knight block, okay, that's nothing gonna be. We know what's happening there. And the final variation, knight takes queen. Remember earlier, there was a knight on f6, and then bishop on h6? They switch roles in this variation. This time, bishop f6, knight h6, once more, mate. This is a beautiful way to capitalize on these 2 gaps, f6 and h6. It's really, really cool for me to see this early queen sacrifice leading to a complete collapse of the dark squares on the king's side. Anyhow, I hope you found this one instructive as well. Feel free, as usual, to leave any comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next video. That's all for now. Take care.